Welcome back, football fans. Big news out of Barcelona as the Catalans return to action after the international break. Lamine Yamal suffers a controversial injury while on Spain duty, sparking tension between Hansi Flick and La Roja. Deco has backed Flick's criticism, while Yamal's Champions League availability against Newcastle United is now in doubt. Meanwhile, Frenkie de Jong edges closer to a return, teenager Xavi Espart trains with the first team, and Liverpool are pushing hard to sign Ronald Araujo. We'll also dive into Dani Olmo's uncertain future, Barcelona's long-awaited Camp Nou comeback, and Marc Casado's rise as a silent leader in midfield. Let's break it all down. Barcelona's 2025-26 home opener was the first time since early January that Lamine Yamal was absent from the squad. The youngster picked up a pubic area injury while on international duty with Spain. Manager Hansi Flick expressed his frustration at the Spanish national team, accusing them of mishandling Yamal's fitness by pushing him to play deep into their second World Cup qualifier despite needing painkillers. Officials from Spain denied the accusations, insisting they had not mistreated the teenager. Still, the damage was done and Yamal is currently sidelined for Barcelona. Before the clash against Valencia, sporting director Deco publicly supported Flick, agreeing with his criticism and stressing the need for better communication between clubs and national teams. Deco said, "In the end, we have to improve our communication, we have to improve the protocols between clubs and national teams. Players are subject to excessive workloads nowadays, as we all know." Deco echoed Flick's frustration, admitting that international breaks often cause problems since players frequently return injured. He stressed that everyone involved must be more careful, as Lamine Yamal is not only crucial for Barcelona but also for Spain. With Yamal sidelined in the stands, Barcelona still cruised past Valencia with a commanding 6-0 victory. After the match, Hansi Flick refused to elaborate further on his criticism of Spain's handling of Yamal, saying simply, "I said what I said and nothing more." Looking ahead, Yamal's participation in Barça's Champions League opener against Newcastle United remains uncertain. Alejandro Balde and Gavi are already confirmed absentees, while both Yamal and Frenkie de Jong, who picked up a knock with the Netherlands, will undergo late fitness tests to determine if they can feature at St. James Park. Following their 6-0 triumph over Valencia last night, FC Barcelona players returned to the Ciutat Esportiva this morning for the recovery training session. Up next for the Blaugrana is a trip to England, where they take on Newcastle United in their first league phase match of the 2025-26 UEFA Champions League on Thursday. The good news from today's recovery session was that Frenkie de Jong trained with the group and is in line for a return to the squad against Newcastle United. A new face in training. Meanwhile, there was a new face in the session today as Hansi Flick decided to call up teenage prospect Xavi Espart to work with the senior team, reports journalist Sergi Capdevila. Just 18 years old, Espart was part of the treble-winning Juvenile A side under Juliano Belletti last season and is now a member of the Barça athletic roster under the Brazilian coach. Barcelona rate the youngster very highly and believe that he has the potential to make it big at the club. As such, the Catalans renewed his contract until 2028 only last month. Flick has called Espart up to train with the senior setup in the past, and did so again today with the youngster working alongside the substitutes from last night's game against Valencia. With Hector Fort being sent out on loan to Elche, the German tactician could turn to Espart as an option at right back if needed over the course of the season. When Íñigo Martínez settled for a surprise move to Al Nassr this summer, the focus immediately shifted to Ronald Araujo. Many expected the Uruguayan international to step up his game and become a key defensive cog for Barcelona alongside Pau Cubarsí. However, 4 games into the new season, Araujo has yet to impose his authority in the Barcelona backline. After starting in the first 2 matches of the season, the Uruguayan has been left out on the bench in Barcelona's last 2 games. Liverpool back in the race to sign Araujo. Araujo's situation has led to question marks over his long-term future at Barcelona, with a certain Premier League club now back in the race. According to Fischages, Liverpool are one of the clubs that are still interested in the services of Araujo. The reigning English champions have been monitoring the Uruguayan for quite some time now and believe he can be an excellent strategic investment. It must be noted that Liverpool are gearing up for life without Ibrahima Konate, who is likely to join Real Madrid on a free transfer next summer. The Reds were close to signing Marc Guéhi in the summer, but the move did not materialize. Now, if Barcelona are open to selling Araujo, he could turn out to be an interesting option in the winter transfer window. As a matter of fact, Liverpool are ready to shell out €50 million for the services of Araujo, which could make things even more interesting. Although Barcelona have not made a final decision regarding Araujo's future, they are monitoring his situation closely. However, a sale in January appears unlikely as things stand. Hansi Flick has been at FC Barcelona since the start of the 2024-25 season, and his first move in the transfer market as manager of the Catalan club was to bring in Dani Olmo from RB Leipzig. The Spaniard returned to a club he called home as a kid after a successful few years in Germany. His first season back in Catalonia was hit and miss. There were games where Olmo was unplayable, but fitness issues did not allow him to have a sustained impact. Olmo has not started the new season in eye-catching form and is yet to score his first goal of the campaign. Although there have been flashes of brilliance, there has not been enough consistency to convince Flick that he needs to be Barcelona's starting number 10. Now, according to Fichages, Barcelona are evaluating a possible exit for the 27-year-old Spaniard in the near future. The Catalan club no longer considers Olmo unsellable and could look to move him on to help them financially. Olmo still attracts a lot of interest from England. He is also appreciated in Germany, where they have seen his exploits firsthand, but staying at Barcelona also remains a concrete possibility. When at his best, there are not many players in world football better than Olmo at playing in between the lines. However, ever since his time at Leipzig, his body has been letting him down and has prevented him from becoming the player he could be. Although Olmo has not looked in top form so far this season, it would be unwise for Barcelona to write him off this early. All it could take is one game to snap back into form, and Flick will be hoping that it comes sooner rather than later. The 2025-26 season could be decisive for Dani Olmo. With youngsters like Fermin, Diarra, and Toni Fernandes pushing for their chance, the Spanish midfielder must raise his level or risk losing his place in the team. Meanwhile, one of Barcelona's top priorities remains the long-awaited return to the Spotify Camp Nou. The comeback has been delayed several times, forcing the team to continue playing home matches at alternative venues. But there's finally some good news. Reports suggest Barça could be back at the Camp Nou before the end of September. The club already has the certificate of completion of works and is now awaiting the first occupancy permit from the Barcelona City Council. Once approved, the stadium will be ready to host games again, with the La Liga clash against Real Sociedad looking like the most likely return date. Until then, Barcelona will keep playing at the Estadio Johan Cruyff, including their upcoming league match against Getafe. The team comes into it with momentum, after restarting their season following the international break in style with a dominant 6-0 win over Valencia. While the likes of Rafinha, Fermin Lopez and Robert Lewandowski stole the limelight with their goals, one of Barcelona's real standout performers was Marc Casado. Starting in the absence of Frenkie de Jong, Casado reminded everyone why he is such a potent option in the Barcelona midfield, as he circulated possession effortlessly and orchestrated the play in the middle of the park. Casado, the silent leader of Barcelona. As reported by Sport, Marc Casado has emerged as a silent leader of sorts at Barcelona, especially after his performance against Valencia. The young midfielder once again showcased his maturity and control, commanding the game with the kind of calm presence that allows others to shine. His discipline gave Pedri the freedom to dictate the tempo higher up the pitch, while Fermin thrived with attacking runs that earned him a brace. In many ways, Casado was the anchor that made all of this possible. This performance continues a trend that dates back to last season, when he impressed in high-pressure clashes against Bayern Munich and Real Madrid. Each time the spotlight has turned his way, the midfielder has proven he can deliver. This is a great positive for the Barcelona team, which will require quality depth as they look to retain the league title and reclaim the Champions League trophy for the first time since 2015. It must be noted that Casado was one of the prime candidates to leave Barcelona in the summer. But the youngster ended up remaining at the club, hoping to fight for his place in the team. Now, with an excellent performance against Valencia, Flick will certainly think twice before removing Casado from the starting 11 in their upcoming game against Newcastle United. Barcelona's 6-0 thrashing of Valencia was the perfect response after the international break, but big questions remain. Will Yamal recover in time for the Champions League? Could Araujo leave for Liverpool? And is this finally the season where Marc Casado becomes an untouchable starter for Barça? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more daily updates on FC Barcelona, Real Madrid, and the UEFA Champions League.